You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible.
All right, folks. Vice President Joe Biden made some comments today that had all folks on social media talking when he was discussing in Iowa education and talked about poor kids and white kids. Press play.
And the other thing we should do is we should challenge these students. We should challenge students in these schools to have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
All right, Robert. Folks said, oh, my God, this is a gaffe. What was he doing? But here's the reality, Robert, that we have to acknowledge. The news media has played a critical role in framing this thing that when you talk about poor, that means black. So not just when it comes to, not just comes to education, but anything. The reality is there are more poor white people in America because there are more white people in America. But what has happened is when you talk about poor, I guarantee you, if you do the study, if somebody says, what's the first thought that comes to your mind when you say poor? They are going to think black. So it's no surprise when Joe Biden made that comment, because that's exactly how America thinks, because we have been framed to think when you think poor, you mean black.
Well, I think also the media is really trying to help reelect Trump. Because if, on the same day that we're talking about 600 migrants getting deported and taken away from their children, we got blood still on the streets in Dayton and in El Paso. We're still getting over the ship them back controversy. We're still getting over the Birmingham controversy. Joe Biden immediately corrected himself within 2 words, where he said white and then he said wealthy because he meant to say wealthy. And now this is the thing dominating the headlines today. We do not understand what we are up against. That since the year 1900, only 4 elected presidents have not been reelected. If we're going to turn every slip of the tongue by a 70-something-year-old man into a new racist controversy, y'all going to have 4 more years of Trump, 8 more years of Pence, then 4 years of Ivanka, then 8 years of Don Jr., and then Eric, and then the apocalypse will be here. So either we're going to have a realistic idea of the way that people speak in crowds, or we're going to turn this into the newest racist controversy.
Lauren, that's what's really stupid about this, because, again, if the media had any credibility, if they had any sense whatsoever, they would say, wait a minute, how could that happen? And it is because in this nation, it has been framed, when you say poor, it means black.
Yeah, well, here it is. I mean, Joe Biden is 76 years old. He's been in politics for 46 years. It is no shock to me that he just used African Americans interchangeably with poverty. I mean, it's just like not surprising. And we're going to see more of this because, to me, Joe Biden is in a lot of ways sort of the second coming of Hillary Clinton in terms of being one of these candidates who, on paper, has the goods, but their electoral history would indicate that there's a reason why they haven't won on a nationwide level. Now, Joe Biden has run before and has had problems before, and there's no reason to think that's not going to happen again. He's got other competition in the race that, frankly, to me, is smarter and quicker than he is, even though these people are not that much younger than he is. Like, Senator Warren is not that much younger, but she's still smarter and quicker and savvier than Joe Biden is. And we're going to see more of that. And to Robert's point, yeah, I mean, you can't make it easy, okay? All right? I mean, I get that the media is not the best at covering these things. The media has never been particularly good at covering racial topics. But you can't just hand them stuff. And what the RNC is very good at, and conservatives and Republican Party are very good at, is messaging. So the minute he said that, they got that out there, and they got everybody thinking about it, and they got it trending on Twitter, and so now we're all talking about it. So whose fault is that other than Joe Biden? He's got to be more careful about what he says. And he's not particularly, that's not something that is his strong suit. And I have a feeling we're going to be having this conversation again. And quite frankly, hate to admit it, but Donald Trump is good at messaging. He's good at comms. He doesn't fool around. He goes right for the jugular. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to get out there. He knows how to fill the box and fill the cycle with his messaging. So everybody who's running against him has got to understand that every time something happens. And unfortunately, to me, in this field of Democrats, Biden is not the strongest player when it comes to that.
Johanna, bottom line is that I do believe media goes overkill on some of these stories.
True.
He did immediately correct himself, so it's not like he left it there and then had sent a press release out later.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with my co-panelist, Robert, here on this issue. I think that the media is very strategic. The media knows what people want to hear, right? And people who are not paying attention, people who don't get a chance to read the full story or the full article, will immediately go to the notion that, oh, Senator Biden said, black people are poor, something of that effect. So if people who are critical thinkers will think a bit deeper into it, but I think the media is doing a really good job in terms of trying to get Donald Trump reelected. And I think if we're looking for a perfect candidate, we're never going to find one. So good luck with that. He is going to make mistakes. He is going to say things that may not sound perfect when it's taken out of context. But we have to realize that if the Democratic Party wants a nominee, we need to be less divisive and less critical.
Just to hop in real quick, I need the news media to stop being so transparent and trying to turn Elizabeth Warren into a thing. Elizabeth Warren isn't a thing. She's polling at 12% nationally. I've never seen an Elizabeth Warren bumper sticker.
Disagree.
But hold on.
Disagree.
Every single debate, there was a debate where Tulsi Gabbard won. They said Elizabeth Warren won. Every single new MSNBC, CNN, they're trying to turn Elizabeth Warren into like the new trend, into the new thing, into Coke Zero. But nobody's actually out here calling for it, and that's why they're cannibalizing. They're doing exactly what President Obama said not to do, which is to form a circular firing squad, trying to make Elizabeth Warren into a thing when the people aren't calling for her as a thing.
Warren is polling at number 2 in the polls right now, and she is surging in the polls right now. And it's not a matter of turning anybody to a thing. There is a reason we have primaries, okay? And there's a reason why the Democratic Party flopped last time by just having Hillary Clinton and anointing her the candidate and deciding that she was going to be it. That was a mistake. The way you find the best person is you have competition. And so there are going to be moments when everybody says, wow, we're criticizing the front runner, and that's not a good thing. But that's why you do this, because you do end up, in my view, you do end up with the best person.
Not only you're criticizing the front runner, it's just the notion that we're not getting the full story, and we're being critical, and it seems like we are looking for a perfect candidate, and that's not going to happen. So we need to wake up and understand that there is no such thing, and accept candidates how they are, because we know we have Biden's track record. He was the vice president to President Barack Obama, and some of the policies under the Obama administration were not that bad. So I think that he's a good contender, and we need to stop this notion of a perfect candidate.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, you've heard me talk a lot about marijuanastock.org. Why? Because I want to keep you informed of investment opportunities that make sense. We've all watched the growth of the cannabis industry. A recent report by New Frontier Data estimates the global cannabis market at more than $340 billion. We know that marijuana legalization is sweeping the country state by state. We also know that marijuana has a good cousin, the hemp plant, with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all of the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the United States and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. Folks, they need land to grow all of the plants. This is not rocket science. It's real simple. It's an incredible investment opportunity, and that's where our friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. My friends at 420 Real Estate decided to do something special for the Roland Martin Unfiltered fan base. Originally, the minimum investment level was $500. Right now, you can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200. That's right, anywhere from $200 up to $10,000. Let me recap. This is a $340 billion industry that is still growing. And you can participate with as little as $200. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.